Okay, welcome back to... What, was that too aggressive of a clap?
No. I'm really impressed with how good this looks.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Welcome back to Comics on Comics. This is episode 3. We will be covering the Sandman Volume 1, Preludes and Nocturnes. But before we do any of that, look at this.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Max got an iPhone 15.
13.
13?
Yeah, I got a new phone.
Looks really good. Check this out.
Oh, yeah, we have a mic. I'm going to be holding it.
And it is very much on. It is on.
Yeah, it's on. It's doing shit.
It's doing stuff.
It looks really good.
We're moving up in the world.
Really cool looking.
Yeah, we're going to move up to Central Park West after this. Yeah.
Episode 4,
Mm-hmm.
you can see Central Park from our window.
Yeah, it's like kind of like Friends.
I would live on Central Park East.
I would live on any Central Park.
Yeah. Do you think some people would not live on Central Park East?
Yeah.
This is a very New York conversation.
They would not live on Central Park North. I will not. I hate the Museum of Natural History. Hate it.
This is a really specific conversation.
What else is going on in New York? I feel like there was some big New York news and we're missing it. No, there just wasn't.
No, I mean, Eric Adams is still a big asshole.
He's still a big asshole.
Yeah.
Always been a big asshole.
Always been a big asshole.
Came out of the womb, had a big asshole.
I don't really understand how he was elected, but whatever.
Well, I do, but
Okay.
it's not going to
Yeah, because you're a political expert.
I am.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't know if you knew this, but the lights are off in this room.
Yeah.
That's how good the setup is.
This is like a studio.
It is dark behind the camera.
We won't be turning it around because
You will not see anything.
I don't think that's the problem. It's just
it's
just my bedroom.
It also took like a full half hour to get the camera to not fall over.
This is Sandman, and I'm going to do a little joke here.
Mm-hmm.
Could also be called the Sound Man, which is a JoJo's reference. For all my JoJo's fans out there.
It doesn't really matter, you guys. This might all be edited out. Anyways, back into the swing of things. Today we're going to be covering the Sandman Volume 1, which is the first 8 issues of Neil Gaiman's classic, very famous, well-regarded...
What's his name?
Neil Gaiman?
Neil Gaiman.
Yeah.
With a husband.
Well, he's straight. Very well-regarded series. Came out in 88, I want to say, 89 maybe.
No one knows why it's well regarded.
Just because it's really good.
No one knows why.
And, yeah, we're going to be talking about it. This is the 30th anniversary edition of it, by the way. So for all my coloring enthusiasts out there, this is, in fact, a recolored volume of it. And it's the only thing I've ever read is the recolored version. Because it's basically impossible to buy the version with the original colors. And that's really stupid because I don't know why you would recolor a comic book. Because colors are still colors. But anyways.
Yeah, but colors in the 80s, the whole world was like black and white back then.
So annoying. It's so dumb.
I think, before we get into this, we got to give you a major podcast update. We're doing rankings now.
Oh, yeah.
I think we need to go back and rank what we've done.
Right. Okay, so we've read The Department of Truth Volume 1, A City on the Hill, and I Married My Best Friend Despite My Parents. I feel very uncomfortable ranking those two against each other.
Well, I just feel like we need to establish a sort of ranking system.
Metric?
Yeah, I think 7 is average.
Sure. I don't even think we should go above 5. I think it should be 0 to 5.
0 to 5?
Yeah.
3 is like, you made a thing.
Yeah.
It was fine. 4 is like, that was pretty good. 5 out of 5 is like, holy shit.
The chances that we give anything above a 3 are...
I think both of the things we read are 4 out of 5.
Oh, yeah. But... to be fair, it's because we keep picking stuff we like. Also...
we just have good taste.
The ratings, arbitrary. Not objective.
Oh, it's simply what we think, and I think we should have different ratings every episode.
Yeah. But it's simply what we think at the moment.
No, I meant you have your rating and I have mine.
Right. It has to be different. We cannot agree.
What if mine is out of 10 and yours is out of 5?
Sure, it's the same thing.
No, it isn't.
Okay, so you can multiply it by 2 to get to the same rating. They are different scales.
No, I'm kidding.
Anyways.
I'm joking.
This was illustrated by Sam Keith, who, Mike Drinenberg and Malcolm Jones III. One of them was supposed to be the series regular, but they left. I don't remember which one. Not gonna lie to you. It has covers by Dave McKean, which is pretty important because, his covers became really iconic. He had this whole thing where he was like, why do I have to put the main character on the cover of every issue? And it's like, that's a good point, but also... it's a great way to advertise the series.
He probably is really frustrated right now with the current, movie poster culture.
Oh, yeah. Movie posters suck right now. But anyway, here's an example of one of his covers. The series really got famous for these. It's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on here, but it's kind of cool. Oh my god, Oscar cannot see.
It's fine. I did read it.
Yeah. And so this volume actually includes the covers, which...
pretty cool.
It's really cool. What do you think this was about, Oscar?
Oh my god. This was the most confusing thing I've ever read in my whole life.
That's pretty crazy.
It's not the most confusing. It's about not a man. It's not about a man. It's called Sandman, not about a man. It's about a entity.
One of the 7 endless.
They did not go that far. They did not explain that.
Oops.
Did not explain
I've read the whole series.
Obviously. It's about Dream, not the one you think.
He does not wear a mask.
Well, he does for a little.
He does for a little bit, but...
Well, it's a helmet. We follow Dream, and at the beginning of the series, he gets trapped in a bubble by a man.
Mm-hmm.
And then that man dies.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a different man with a husband.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Correct. Astute.
Eventually, after 100 years, Dream escapes his imprisonment, and it was cool. There was a moment where he was like, I don't experience time any faster than you.
He's like, I have actually been here for 100 years.
He's like, fuck you guys. Basically, this whole first volume is just him trying to get his shit back that everyone stole from him over 100 years.
Yeah, he had a bag of sand,
a helmet, and a ruby.
All of these, when combined, give him his, powers, basically.
His dream powers.
Except
Dream SMP powers.
They kind of stop caring about them by the next volume. He, combines it into one. So, this is a unique volume to start on. Obviously, you have to start on this volume, because it's the first. But Neil Gaiman has said many times that he does not feel it's reflective of the series. He thinks he was still trying to find his voice. It was the 3rd comic he'd ever written, and he doesn't really like it that much. He likes the last issue, because it's the best thing ever created in the history of humanity. But the rest of it, he's like, yeah, it's fine.
I skimmed the foreword, so I know a little bit.
Very pretentious foreword.
How is Black Orchard?
Never read it. Do not care about it.
Maybe we should.
Yeah, but it's just why would I? If he literally doesn't like it. That's true. Maybe we should.
That was a great argument.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic argument.
Also, people probably know him. If you guys are not a comic fan, he's a big, novel writer. He wrote, Good Omens.
You can tell.
Yeah.
When you read this, you can tell he's a novel writer. It's written like a novel.
It is really wordy. The Sandman has a lot of different artists throughout its run. Never really sticks to a series regular, I don't think. Mostly because, it's mostly words.
Well, it's also just because the narrator, Sandman, very esoteric.
Oh, yeah.
And likes to narrate like it's a novel. It's just written like a novel.
He's a big asshole, the main character, Sandman, Morpheus.
Hasn't come up yet, really.
Really?
He didn't really do that much asshole stuff. He just kind of, tried to get his shit back.
I guess, but he didn't do it in the nicest way possible.
Would you?
No.
The craziest thing happened in this comic. Washington Square Park just showed up.
Yes. Washington Square Park is in this comic book.
And a guy got hit by a car near Washington Square Park, which...
probably has happened many times.
Could have seen a guy who got hit by a car in Washington Square Park.
I was in Washington Square Park today.
Well, yeah, I was too. We're really cool.
Yeah, we go to parks?
Yeah. Washington Squares.
So you think it was about a guy trying to get his shit, basically?
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially.
But the comic underneath that,
I
mean, it's really about, the nature of being alive.
Oh my god, what if I change the question to, what do you think this was about, Oscar? Right? And then the second question is, now what do you think this really was about?
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We have bits.
I don't know if that's really a bit. I think that's just having a conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, so the series is definitely just about the nature of life itself.
It does a good job of thinking about that, especially with the diner chapter. It's
Yeah.
very much about, how sort of... What is it? It's to live is to be depraved.
Mm-hmm. Who said that?
No one. I just said that.
Damn.
That was my interpretation.
Oscar Steinhardt.
Philosopher. I feel like a philosopher sometimes. I feel like if I was born 3,000 years ago, I would be known as a great philosopher today.
Why can't you be known... So 3,000 years from today, then, do you think you'll be known as a great philosopher?
No.
No?
It's too diluted.
Do you think that 3,000 years from today, assuming that human history... We survive, let's say. Do you think they're going to have any records from our time?
I think they'll forget about people like MLK, George Washington, but I think they'll still know who Aristotle is. He's really cemented himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe they'll know Ronald Reagan. Guy who almost ended the war.
He's dead. There's a TikTok account every day.
Oh yeah, really funny.
He died.
There's another one for Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah.
She deserves it equally.
It must be the same person running them, right?
It's not that hard.
No.
They use the same picture every day.
Yeah.
Do you think they're making money off that?
Almost certainly, yeah.
We should find a person that's universally hated and just start doing that.
It's almost ironic that they're making money off that, considering they're anti-Reagan, obviously, yet are abusing the capitalist system for their own...
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think if we just posted "We're still alive" every day, people would start caring about us?
Yeah, they'd be like, who are they? Why are they destined to die?
Yeah. We get on this show and we say stuff that puts a target on our back.
We really do.
We are subversive.
We talk about men with husbands.
And women with wives.
Oh, yeah. Both.
When are we going to read a comic about a non-binary person?
With a partner?
With a partner.
I don't know.
A life partner.
Has one been written?
It's a good... Probably not.
Has a non-porn one been written?
That's our thesis.
Uh-huh.
We make that comic.
We make the comic?
We make NB on NB comic.
NB on NB? There's a non-binary character in this comic.
It's not Sandman.
No.
Because
he's
in the
guy.
name. And he gets called brother by his sister.
So let's talk about that, actually. Let's talk about the name. The Sandman is actually a name that DC already owned.
Can't show the logo.
Yeah, but you can show the color, and it's coffee. So
They don't know that.
what is in my teacher's coffee mug?
What is that?
Never mind. Doesn't matter.
No, I want to know.
You don't know that?
No.
Whenever it's like what's in the teacher's coffee mug, and it's like alcohol.
What? Why wouldn't they just get a flask like a normal person?
Because the whole joke is they're hiding it in the mug.
The whole point of the flask is to hide.
But it isn't hidden anymore, because the only thing that's ever been in a flask is alcohol.
What if you just went like this?
That's ridiculous, though, because then you would have to go like that. Aren't you really glad you wore that sweatshirt now?
I really am. Put it on just for this. Actually, that's not true. I put it on because it's kind of cold out and I wanted to go to Chipotle.
It is a little... We didn't get Chipotle, by the way. We went to Chipotle. They were out of rice.
Do you want to go after? They'll probably have rice.
I need to eat dinner.
If it's the same lady.
Yeah. How can you be out of rice, by the way, at Chipotle?
It's like your whole job to have
You
rice.
have to have... They were like, does anyone want to order something without rice? Everyone stepped out of line.
Everyone fucking ran.
It was like, who's going to get something without rice?
And then we made eye contact and then left.
We just left.
We were the last ones out because we had to confer with another.
Anyway,
We're not dating.
No. Anyways, so yeah, DC owned the name The Sandman from an old character from like the 40s that wasn't being used anymore. And so they went to Neil Gaiman and they're like, hey, do you want to make a new Sandman series? And he was like, yeah, sure, that sounds fun.
Doesn't that happen a lot in comics? Especially Western ones are like, here's this old character.
We own it. Yeah,
You want to do it?
And then later they were like, okay, but actually, I lied. It has to be totally new. You can still use the name, though, if you want. And he was like, oh, okay.
So that's why it's kind of on the nose.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I just have the words, The Sandman, and I have to make a comic, a whole comic now.
Mr. Sandman, yeah. It's a very common mythological thing.
Yeah. I noticed there's a lot of songs in this.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of songs. What is up with that?
I think
like a style?
It's a style, but it probably adds to the idea that it's like life is worth living because of its experiences and the art and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
You do not have to hide the logo. We just said Chipotle.
When we say Chipotle, I'm going to pull up a picture of the Taco Bell logo just to throw them off the set.
Okay. But you just said you're going to do that.
I'll cut it
Now
out.
it has to be a different Mexican chain, and you cannot say which one.
Maybe Qdoba.
I don't think I've been there.
Who would ever go to Qdoba?
People.
No.
Must.
I think it's a front.
For what?
Money laundering, drugs.
We were talking about this. Which would not be upset.
No, I'm getting cheaper food.
Yeah, if my restaurant, like my local Chinese place or Italian place or whatever the stereotype usually is money laundering, I don't care. It's good food.
Is there a stereotype? I think it's mostly nail salons, like that stereotype.
I guess that's true, but I feel like Italian places, because I suppose that's just because the Italian mafia is a stereotype, yeah. We had a comic for this week. It's like comic book podcast.
Yeah.
I really fucking love this series. I think it is really good. And I think the first 7 issues, even though they're definitely some of the worst of the series, are still really good and really interesting. And do one thing, which I wrote in my notes. My notes, by the way, were about 10 words long.
By the way, quick interjection. I made it in the Discord server. You can't see my notes. The channel doesn't even exist.
I'm the owner of the server.
Try to look.
Okay.
I'm so embarrassed.
Why?
I don't want you to look.
I feel like you're going to be way more embarrassed when I
it's literally
can.
there.
I'm the owner of the server.
I specified in the channel description, Max cannot look at this.
Do you know what Discord is?
Yeah.
When you own a Discord server, you are the president.
We need to add Carol and make her the owner.
Okay. Who's Carol, though?
Oh, okay.
No one knows. You've introduced a side character.
It's my, I should lie. I'm not going to. It's my girlfriend.
It's my roommate.
I have an aunt named Carol, you know that?
Aunt Carol?
Mm-hmm.
That's a great name for an aunt.
It is, but it makes it confusing, because my mom always has to say, my sister, Carol.
Oh, sure, yeah. If it was your dad's sister, it would not be an issue.
No, we would never talk about her.
Would not come up.
Never would come up.
Would not come up.
Leave a comment if you have a paternal, what do they call? Aunt or uncle.
Aunt.
There has to be a word for that.
my paternal aunt followed me on Twitter yesterday. Immediately blocked her.
Paternal aunts and uncles might as well not exist.
What is that about?
I don't know.
Men depression. Anyways,
The Sandman.
what I was saying was this series does really, really good world building, in my humble opinion. Obviously, it didn't work so well for Oscar, but something I love about it is that does not explain anything to you until you figure it out yourself. It places you right into literally the climax of a 100-year war, essentially, between this one guy and the people capturing him. And says, oh, it's over, he just escaped. And I'm like, oh, escaped what? Why does he escape? Why does he need to escape? Who is he? Why? They don't tell you any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that, because...
Kind of like a novel.
Yeah.
Max just scratched me with their nail.
I like the confidence that they have in their concept.
Well, you like the confidence that Neil Gaiman has in his own writing.
Sure. And I think it's earned.
But I think it's interesting, like, I love the way he just introduces characters that are around for one chapter.
Yeah.
Comics need to do that more.
It happens a lot in this series.
One chapter characters are fantastic.
Especially in this series, and in this volume, The 24-Hour Diner, he introduces a lot of characters which are really only around for one chapter. Spoiler warning, they all die. They're all brutally murdered.
Why do you need a spoiler warning if you're watching this?
I don't know. Just feels like the kind thing to do.
I wasn't talking to you, I was talking to them.
Oh yeah, don't... Fuck off.
Fuck you guys.
Don't watch this. Read the book.
Don't watch this, period.
The back of this book says it's $20. It's definitely like $10 on Amazon.
Or just pirate it.
Yeah, or do that.
We'll put the link in the description.
No. We're not gonna do that.
Well, I think, like, the series is obviously very esoteric. Like, it can be somewhat inaccessible, I feel like. The way it sort of just, like, goes right into it, it's kind of a lot. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say, like, I loved every second of it. I was very confused. I can appreciate the writing style. It's just, like, it was a really slow-paced read, which is, you know...
It builds to itself, and something that I think makes sense is that this volume is specifically 8 issues, which is kind of abnormal, I guess. 7 is more the norm. But the story arc is essentially just the first 7 volumes. First 7 chapters, sorry. Mm-hmm. The last issue 8, The Sound of Her Wings, probably the most famous one. Mm-hmm. Honestly, ever, maybe? Not part of the story arc of this book, and frankly not part of the story arc of the whole series.
It was a good end, though.
Really good end, because essentially in The Sound of Her Wings, Sandman he talks to his older sister, Death, who is one of his siblings.
They don't tell you it's Death. You have to figure it out.
You figure it out. Who is one of his siblings, and it's basically just a rumination on the idea of death and its value to humanity and how we're powerless to do
Sandman loves to think.
Oh, yeah.
He loves thinking.
He's very confused. The crux of this series, as Neil Gaiman describes it now, is Morpheus must change or die. It's basically like you must adapt to the modern time and the modern human sensibility or fucking die. Which is really interesting.
So let me ask you something. There's a lot of interesting panel work in this, but that's not from Neil Gaiman.
No.
It's from Sam Keith.
I don't know. I gotta look at the credits. I've never read the scripts for this. Not that I read scripts for comics. What? Isn't that weird? I assume it's Sam Keith, yeah.
So, a lot of panels, especially near the beginning, have borders, which I think is really interesting. I don't know if, like, literally the first panel has a frame. It's framed.
Yeah.
Not normal at all. Am I wrong? That's just not normal.
No, it's very atmospheric. It's very storybook mythology.
The second thing is there's a lot of panel, like,
they break out of the frame.
Breaking out of the panel.
Right.
But then also there's a lot of just empty space.
Gosh, this is a beautiful looking book.
But there's a lot of empty space.
Yeah.
He's really not afraid to just leave shit blank when it's effective. And I really like that.
I'm a big fan of it too.
I'm trying to find a good example, but there's a lot of just empty space, and it's really cool. Something
that could be attributed to it is sort of the vibe that the book gives, at least the first volume, of this being like some ancient story that we're supposed to kind of know.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely... the reason I was so confused is because it's told with the attitude like you're already kind of supposed to know.
Also, there's a reading of it that I have, but it kind of requires me to spoil the last issue of the whole series, so maybe I won't.
Yeah, maybe don't. Because we can finish this eventually.
But this framing of this frame, right?
Oh, it comes back?
It doesn't come back, but I like to think of it as we are entering the story now. The story starts, and we enter it. Almost as if we are entering our dreams. Because dreams in this book are really just a stand-in for the concept of stories and ideas and the power of fiction and how art can sort of motivate us and all that.
I had a somewhat different interpretation of it.
Let me hear. This is so exciting.
I thought the framing thing was more about the fact that this is sort of the beginning of the story, and we, as the viewer, are much more distant from it than we are later. So we're kind of looking at it as just like a collection of images before we're really invested, especially with the storytelling style of this book.
Right.
We kind of just are looking at it, trying to make sense of it, sort of the same way you're looking at a piece of art.
Yeah.
That way, it's framed like a piece of art.
Right.
So you kind of have that attitude towards it at the beginning, because it's trying to create some distance between you and the comic.
It's definitely really interested in what it means to observe art and be invested in a story.
Well, because Sandman, Morpheus, which they'd never call him Morpheus in the first 8.
No, they, sometimes they call him that. He has like 4 other names.
Makes sense. He is like God.
He is Dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool. They add so much lore just by being like, oh yeah, I used to call him this. It's like, oh, you knew him?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He basically just views human life as just like a bunch of stories.
Right.
Right.
And that's what he has to try to adapt to overcome. He's supposed to value life over stories, essentially.
It's an interesting story to tell.
He goes to hell.
He does. But I think also, this was made, in the late 80s?
Yeah.
Right after the mass production of, TV and, the
calendars with the year 1980s.
Well, more about the transition from radio to television.
In the 80s?
No, but in the 80s, it got a lot bigger.
Sure.
I was actually reading about this for a class all about talking about how bad capitalism is. In, the 70s and 80s, a lot more, TV started looking very different because of a lot of reasons, mostly monopolies, but...
studios.
People started forming different relationships with their media programs, and it makes sense that this culturally would come up around this time, because people started doing the thing where they view real life in terms of media rather than the other way around.
Right. Yeah. It's also in terms of narrowing in just in the comic form, at least a Western comic form. I mean, I don't know what manga was like at the time, but this is kind of part of something called. Do you know the British invasion for music in America?
Oh, sure.
So that kind of happened in comics. Really? You've heard of Alan Moore before, right?
I've heard the name.
Yeah. So he wrote Watchmen.
Moore.
Yeah. He wrote Watchmen. There's also Grant Morrison, who you probably not heard of, but they've wildly influenced comics.
Grant Morrison.
Really? Yeah. I gotta talk about them a lot.
You love talking about Grant Morrison.
Oh yeah.
Wait, did you just say I talk about him a lot on Twitter?
No.
I look at your Twitter ever?
I didn't.
Okay.
Anyways, you can check the tape. Literally check the tape.
I'm going to use AI
Neil Gaiman
to implement to insert you saying on Twitter into the video. So I'm right.
He is also British, and a lot of these people, they were working for DC, and they were trying to tell stories that were able to push more boundaries than superheroes had before, and we're trying to sort of have this general idea of hey, we have this really cool framework of this shared universe where anything can really happen, and we're going to believe it. But what if we're actually impactful for real life, right? What if we actually analyze these issues as real things? And
I'm into that.
I think it's very successful.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's Washington Square Park.
Yeah.
How much more impactful to real life can you be?
It was part of an imprint they started called Vertigo. I don't know. They renamed it Black Label now because they got rid of Vertigo, but
Vertigo, the movie.
I don't think it was called that because of the movie, but yeah.
Is the movie older than that? It doesn't
Vertigo?
So
Alfred Hitchcock? Yeah.
Old.
It's really old. Well, it's not that old.
It's not that old.
No, movies aren't even that old.
It would be totally possible DC started a program called Vertigo before Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo came out.
They did it.
Okay.
But it is possible.
Don't belittle my intelligence like that.
I thought you were referring to the comic book, The Sandman.
No.
And I was like, are you dumb?
You love to think I'm dumb. I'm always looking for excuses to think I'm dumb.
I'm not looking for excuses. I more so do not avoid the examples. I don't let them pass.
Oh, well, I do it to you. I'm always looking for a reason to call you dumb.
Let's talk about The Sound of Her Wings.
I mean, we could talk about the rest of it, too.
I don't have anything to say about the rest of it at this
You have
point.
nothing to say about the rest of it?
Do you want to know what my notes say?
Sure, I would love to know what your notes say.
24-Hour Diner, which we didn't talk about yet, so I guess I do. The Sound of Her Wings, smart world building, already did that, and then I literally wrote, the rest of this volume is actively whatever to me.
Wow.
And I have a quote from Neil Gaiman, but it doesn't matter anymore, because we already covered it. It's about the creation of the series.
Yeah, I got through my notes.
We've been going for 40 minutes.
It's just actively not true.
By the way, we're on socials now.
If you didn't notice,
oh my god, because, right, I'm behind a week. Because they're going to already have seen the other one.
Yeah. But, yeah, go look at our socials, man.
24-Hour Diner.
The TikTok I made?
Mm-hmm.
Really funny.
Really funny. Someone commented on it. We got our first comment ever. Podcast not for everyone.
Didn't get it.
Did not get the joke. We thought that they meant wasn't for me.
Yeah, we were like, this was good, but
Not for me.
not my thing.
Which is totally fair.
It wasn't until Carol, my girlfriend,
My roommate.
informed us that actually it means podcasting is not for everyone.
Like, we should quit the game.
We shouldn't do it.
Mm-hmm. But we are way too invested now.
You know what? Kind of agree with them.
Oh, yeah.
We don't do a very good job at this.
This is basically on a podcast.
I think that's why it's good, though.
We are talking to each other, and then we're going to post it later.
Mm-hmm.
It's really funny.
Oh, I have a podcast to recommend you, actually. I should
Don't.
do that after.
Not now.
No.
We are not promoting other shows here.
Guys, don't you know that every other podcast is bad?
It's really bad.
I don't think we should call this a podcast.
No.
This is a show. It's like a variety show. We're like Johnny Carson.
It's a late night show, not a variety show.
It actually was a variety show.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
Would you consider Fallon a variety show?
No.
Why would you consider Carson?
Carson didn't only have comedy.
What else did he have?
He had a lot of stuff.
But also, it's basically just a modern day late night show.
Do you want to know what it really is?
Sure.
I was going to reference the much more niche, much more unknown variety show that Carson was inspired by, but nobody would know what it is.
What is it?
I should remember. I was going to say it, and I forgot.
Anyways, maybe it's a variety show. I don't know. I feel like it's basically just a late night show, though. There's music on late night shows now. They do little bits.
I don't want to talk to you about this.
Okay. 24-Hour Diner. It is issue 6? 7? Does not matter.
I think it's
Literally read the book and find out.
6. It's 6.
Basically, the central thing is that the main villain of this volume, John Dee,
No, I wouldn't say that. He's in 2 chapters.
the only evil person to ever appear.
Well, what about literally Lucifer?
Okay, but I don't think that counts. Because he's not technically evil, and if you think about it, he's motivated by this exact same thing that Dream is motivated by.
Yeah.
That is the entire point of the issue.
Well, actually, at the very end,
Okay.
he's an asshole.
Yes. Because he's Lucifer.
Yeah.
But the whole thing they're trying to say is that Dream is motivated by
Liberals destroyed.
by
with
his
facts and
fucking
logic.
godly job, and so he's Lucifer. Anyways,
I love the way you just blew me off. You're like, I'm not giving this any time of day.
I have to go through my notes.
Okay.
24-Hour Diner. It's a really disturbing issue.
Really good. This is my favorite one.
It's a lot of people's like most traumatic comic experience.
I just don't understand that.
Online. This is a really mainstream comic, and most of the time mainstream comics aren't this gory.
Okay, this issue, I really liked it. It's basically just like, what was it, like 8 people in the diner, just happen to be in the same diner, and then you slowly learn about how rich and deep their lives are, and also how extremely fucked up they are.
They have really bad lives.
And just with the slightest tweaks to their psyche, they go insane. Like, they start killing each other and sexually assaulting each other.
Because they're told that they can get their dreams, basically. They can get a better life.
And I think it's really interesting because it's like, most people, they're hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
Very close to just going crazy. And, I really like it when comics think about that. Or just when media thinks about that. I think it's a really interesting topic.
It also does it in such an interesting way because,
Oh, yeah. The presentation's really good.
they don't all have the same issue, right? It's not all like, oh, I want money. One guy wants money.
You have to have the guy who wants money.
Right. One person is a waitress who she feels she can be a writer and is unfulfilled. And then there's, the girl I forgot the name of, who is a lesbian and whose girlfriend,
She abuses her girlfriend.
abuses her, basically.
No.
She abuses her girlfriend, and she is trying to fix it, I guess, but at the same time is not willing to own up to her own problems and kind of blame society for hating her, which is...
Crazy.
Well,
How it works.
how it works.
But I also, it's really well presented because it shows you hour by hour what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's not like, hour 1, they're stabbing each other.
It
It's
gets
a slow burn. And then it's like exponential. Like, it doesn't start crazy and then it goes...
The horror of it is that each hour it gets way worse.
Way worse.
By hour 22, they are all dead.
But I also love the transition between hour 22 and hour 23.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing happens except John Dee sees a fly.
Yeah.
And then eats it.
He eats it, and then hour 24 is very cool.
Which, by the way, really cool because he's been calling all the people flies.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a literal fly, and he eats it. Great.
And then it ends with this really, really cool page where you see Morpheus' shadow walking in, and he's just like, you're done, dude.
But John Dee's like, took you fucking long enough.
Yeah. John Dee's been waiting.
Yeah.
Because he wants Dream's powers, by the way. He wants all of them. He has the ruby.
He wants to get the new Minecraft speedrun world record.
Essentially, yeah, but he's, Donkey keeps catching him.
Donkey?
Deep cut. Was it?
No.
No.
That's like the most popular thing on the internet.
Yeah. But
the reason I like this issue so much is it really highlights exactly what is so special about Neil Gaiman's writing. He is really willing to take it slow in order to maximize the effect of what he wants to tell you.
Do you want to hear something?
Sure.
There's a character that is briefly mentioned in this issue. I will not tell you who shows up 4 volumes later and becomes a central character in the entire series.
That's cool.
He just, wrote it in this one. For no reason. He does it a lot. There's multiple characters in this who you assume will never show up again, who are main characters.
That's cool.
It's really fun. You don't care that much.
No, I wanted to tell you something. But
Okay, tell me.
It's going to be really annoying.
Okay.
There is something.
Everything you say is annoying.
There's a plot device set up
Mhm.
in Chapter 12 of Jujutsu Kaisen that does not come up again until Chapter 223.
See, that's, in my opinion, taking what I think is cool way too far. Clearly forgot about it.
He did not.
It's really dumb.
He did not.
That's dumb. That's too many chapters.
It's really cool.
That is too many chapters.
It's like, in real life, it's like 4 years later.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize they came out that fast.
They came out weekly.
Okay.
Yeah.
If they come out monthly like American comics,
Oh, that would be like a decade.
it's really not fun at that point.
No, it was
Just
just 4
dumb.
years later.
Okay, never mind.
Really cool.
I'm eating my words.
Actually, as the more modern we get, you're really not eating your words. Because eating is a good thing. Those words did not eat.
What?
You know when people say, you ate?
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, this is a really good issue. It's also, John Dee's really scary looking. He's, gray. Totally
Yeah,
gray.
I mean, well, he's supposed to be the personification of just, the ultimate, human depravity. He has let go of everything that, keeps us together.
He doesn't care about anything.
He doesn't care about anything except his innate desire to be, really fucked up.
And he uses humans in the same way, too.
Because in psychology, there's this thing where, you always think you're right. You know what I mean? Because, you live...
Oh, yeah.
You live in your own brain. Of course you always think you're right.
I think people who watch this podcast could diagnose one of us with that condition.
And it's there's a stage in development when you're a child where, you realize other people are people. John Dee has not done that.
No, he hasn't done that.
And that's sort of what it's focusing on.
Do you see his mom in this, or is that just in the TV show?
Yeah, no, you see it.
Yeah, they expand that in the TV show for some reason. I don't really know.
His mom was really abusive.
Yeah.
So he never really understood that other people are people. And I think the whole point of the diner chapter is a lot of people don't realize that. But they're much better at it.
Everyone lives
than he is.
in their own world.
Yeah.
But you can't just kill people.
Well, you can.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't.
Should. Also, by the way, totally unrelated, what the fuck happened to 24-hour diners?
There's one opening.
One opening.
Yeah. The diner is a lost art.
They're $20 now for a burger.
Yeah, nowhere to get a cheap meal.
No.
Even at the bodega, bacon, egg, and cheese is $5.
I went to bodega today and got their chicken club panini thing because it comes with chips. It comes with chips.
Okay.
It's a good deal. They gave me a turkey club.
Ugh.
But I couldn't say anything because the guy before me took everyone's sandwich. It was a whole... Don't go to a bodega if you don't know how to go to a bodega.
Yeah, you need... First time you go to a bodega, bring someone else.
Bring a bodega guy. Or go at 2 a.m. I love bodegas at 2 a.m.
Bodegas at 2 a.m. are good, but it's kind of rough for the first time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Anyways, now do you want to talk about the sound of her wings?
Oh, sure.
This is an issue which is very meaningful to me. I've written an essay about it. I didn't submit it, though, because my teacher was like, don't write about that. And I was like, I don't think you should tell me that a week before. That's not important. I had a really annoying teacher last year. He would always tell us about the value of play. Don't ask what that means.
And there's a soccer ball in this. Wouldn't you love it?
Here is a Jew reference.
Dude, I loved...
This is Jew number 1 of the series. Of the podcast, I mean.
Is it Jew number 1 of the podcast?
I think. Confirmed Jew number 1.
Was Lee Harvey Oswald a Jew?
No. Wasn't he Russian or something?
Both of us are Russian.
Anyways, the Jew is, he is saying the prayer for the dead. No, he's not.
No, he says the Shema.
He says the Shema.
What?
There's another Jew somewhere. I've read this comic a lot of times.
There's another Jew?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we can keep reading this.
He's saying the Shema, and he kind of basically asks to die. It's a really sweet moment, almost, because Dream visits everyone, and I think it's a really and death. Sorry. Death visits everyone who dies. I also think it's a very purposeful choice to include a Jew, because, first of all, when we die, it's kind of ambiguous. We don't have, the concept of heaven, right? But Gaiman's very purposely saying, he's not trying to be religious here. Death literally says, well, okay, the Jew goes, so I'm dead, now what? And then Death his name is Harry. Harry says, so I'm dead, now what? And then he says, now's when you find out. They don't tell you. They're not trying to be like, oh yeah, Christianity's right, by the way.
And I think it's a good choice, especially because this series is so interested in the occult and stuff like that, and it's really shook up like a lot of ideas that we have about God or whatever.
Yeah.
Because we don't really think dream is real, and it's like, yeah, dream is real. So like, or death is real, and so it kind of makes sense to include a substandard death practice to just show how equal it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's really kind of a sad issue, but at the same time, it's really hopeful.
It's somber. It's slow.
Yeah.
It's a great change of pace from the one before it, where there's a big fight.
I also think it is sort of saying the mission statement here, which is where at the last page, I'm just going to read his internal narration, Morpheus's, because I think it's important. He says, "There is much to do in my kingdom, much to restore, much to create, but that can wait. I have found the solace I sought, though not in the way I imagined. From dreams I conjure a handful of yellow grain. I throw the grains into the air, and I hear it, the sound of her wings." Her wings, obviously referring to death, kind of, but more so he's saying, I have to rebuild this kingdom, I have to do all my godly tasks, but also I have to appreciate the sound of humanity and the people that I'm supposed to be serving. And I have to reconnect with them.
There's also just literally pigeons around.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
If they're referring to the pigeons, it's not a very good comic.
No, I actually think they're referring to the pigeons.
I don't think that's true.
No, I think they are. Because he's supposed to symbolize, it's supposed to symbolize him embracing life.
Yeah.
And the pigeons are a sign of how fluid and dynamic life is, especially in New York City.
It's also death.
I know that.
Okay.
But pigeons are a sign of life, especially in Washington Square Park. There's people around, the pigeons are flying.
Really annoying.
What?
The pigeons.
Oh, yeah.
Don't feed them. What are you doing? They don't need your food.
This is a lot of blank space.
Yeah.
A lot of blank space.
I don't think this is really intentional. I think it's just how it was chosen.
I don't know. I like it.
It's cool.
How single-minded he is at the end here.
Sure.
Also...
Oh my god, he's feeding the pigeon.
I know. This happened in Adventure Time with the Lich.
Come on, grab your friends. What happens?
Spoilers for Fiona and Cake. But the Lich is the character where he just kills everybody, and then he doesn't, and he's like, now what? It's not nearly as interesting as this, because he just does nothing, literally, but, you know. Still cool. I like that we think about that a lot. We're like, what does God do all the time?
It's a really cool story.
It really well encapsulates how Neil Gaiman thinks about writing, because she just shows up.
Yeah, she's just
And
there.
then at some point, he makes it blatantly obvious who she is.
It's like, oh, obviously Dream's sister's death. Like, yeah, why do I have to explain that? That makes sense.
But, like, there's a certain point where it's like, oh, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
He knows when you're gonna get it.
You're gonna put it together.
And he does not want to tell you, though.
They do not show, they don't say, this is death. They show her going to people who are dying, literally.
Well, and especially because he says to her, like, oh, the people who captured me, they wanted you.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay.
Oh my god, I can't believe we forgot to say that. Dream was captured fully by accident. People were trying to conquer death. They're trying to capture death so they wouldn't die. But obviously Neil Gaiman's trying to make the point that death gives life meaning just as dreams give life meaning. So they captured dreams and they lost meaning in life, just how if they captured death they would have lost their meaning in life. Anyways.
Yeah, because the ultimate punishment he gives his captors is the inability to dream. Because all they do is wake up.
Which is horrifying.
I don't have dreams.
No, you don't remember your dreams.
I just die for 8 hours.
You don't remember them. You have them.
7 hours.
No one cares how much you sleep. Anyways, that's my notes.
I think it's interesting, the last issue, they draw a lot of parallels between dream and death. Because they're like, oh, people are so upset when they die, but when they go to sleep, they don't care. It's a really interesting read. Like, it has a very different pace than most other comics, I would say.
It's a really weird comic book. Also, the name Preludes and Nocturnes, what does that mean?
Didn't even read it.
Preludes, I guess, because it's before everything. What is Nocturnes?
People who don't sleep at night. There's a lot of people who don't sleep.
Yeah, when Dream gets captured, there's like this disease that a bunch of random people get inflicted with where they either cannot go to sleep or they cannot wake up.
I thought it was really interesting. Like, he just chose a bunch of random people. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Really well written.
They are,
I appreciate his writing style.
not so random.
Well, they were random in the beginning.
But what I'm saying is that, to keep you hooked, like a drug. No, I'm saying,
comic books are like drugs.
It comes back. It's really good.
If you read comic books, you're probably going to start doing crimes.
Yeah.
I think there's a...
Frederick Wortham.
Yeah.
He said that. It's like Seduction of the Innocent. Oh should we read that for 1 week?
What is Seduction of the Innocent?
It's the book he wrote about this.
Yeah, of course. Let's do it.
It's probably really boring.
Do you want to rate this out of 10 now?
I want to rate it out of 5.
Sorry, you want to rate it out of 5 now?
Yeah, you can rate it out of 10.
No, I'll do it out of 5.
I think this is a solid 4 to 5 read for me. But that's just because I'm heavily biased, because I know what happens later and it's really fucking good.
Really wish it was out of 10, because I wish I could give it a 3.5 out of 5. Because it's better than average, but
So give it a 3.5 out of 5. Who cares?
It's a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay. Oh my god, should we give it... Oh my god, wait.
I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5.
I'm gonna give it 4 dreams out of 5 possible dreams.
Okay. I'm gonna give it 3 nocturnes out of 5 preludes.
Yeah, exactly. What does that mean? I don't know. And this has been an episode.
Follow us on everything.
Yeah, we've socials on all of them. It's Comics on Comics, NO1 on everything, because we are the #1 comic books.
Is that true? It's not true on... Just go to the links. It's not true on TikTok. We don't have an Instagram yet.
I think it is true on TikTok. Anyways, with the #1 comic book Comics on Comics podcast, if you can't find us, just put an NO1 in it and you're going to find us. We're also on Blue Sky if you're into that. That's my project. That's my little pet project. I tweeted posted twice. We'll be on Instagram by the time this comes out, maybe.
Probably should be.
Yeah. I don't really know what we're going to do with it because it's a really bad app.
I'm just going to post reels.
Yeah, and I'll post photos of my face.
Maybe we should do selfies.
Yeah. Also, it's not confirmed. We might start doing one-off TikToks where we talk about stuff we're interested in that are not applicable to the general show. So if you're into that, take a look. It'll be cool.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, actually. If you don't want that, tell us, because then we won't do it.
Yeah, but also at the same time, probably still gonna do it.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, I have to mention before we leave, every time I look at Oscar during this episode, I've been a little bit, just a tiny bit distracted. Because on his screen, it says, "Can I win if I wait 20 seconds? Mario Kart 8 Deluxe."
I love that. I is not uppercase.
I know.
But wait is.
It's so distracting.
I love that YouTuber.
Also, I assume the answer is no. He is in 4th and it's the 3rd lap.
Oh, he's gonna win that race.
Oh, he got 6th. Yeah.
I love Shortcat. Shout out to Shortcat.
Yeah, we can shout out Mario Kart creators.
Shout out Shortcat, TWD98, RTAT 120.
Mm-hmm. This has been episode...
Wait, we have to...
Oh my god, this has been episode 3?
It has been. Okay.
Well, it will be.
Do you remember?
Rock, paper, scissors, go.
Okay. Let's fucking go.